sweet blessings from the airwaves, gliding on through endless days. And her brothers speaking bright, her words a shining light, tuning in each day, darling.
Good evening, and welcome to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we come to you every Wednesday to inspire, to encourage, and to empower you to live a fulfilling and blessed lifestyle. I'm Anna. I'm your host. I'm a retired school teacher, an author, an educational consultant, a jury consultant, a health and wellness coach, and a certified cake instructor. So I bring to you a wealth of knowledge and experience to our conversations. Each episode we delve into topics that enrich our lives, from education and personal development to health, wellness, and of course the art of jewelry making. This is all done by workshops and guest speakers and just me sharing knowledge, doing research on different types of topics. So I'm asking you to join me as we explore these inspiring stories, the expert insights, and practical advice to help you live a blessed and fulfilling lifestyle. Thank you again for tuning in to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where every conversation is a treasure. So let's get started, okay? So we're going to break here for a brief commercial. And most of you know, if you just tuning in, I did a series on gratitude and motion. And so tonight I'm kind of wrapping it up a little bit. And so our topic tonight is blessings and boundaries. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So when we come back from the commercial, I always have to go and say in here, Nancy says, hi, Nancy, how are you? And thank you so much for joining us. And also Sandy, she says, hi, Mom, hi, ma'am, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we explore this topic. So we're going to go and take that brief commercial, and we will be right back.
Join the She Trucking Foundation today and be a part of a supportive community of women in the trucking industry. Unlock exclusive access to valuable resources, including mentorship, educational workshops, and networking opportunities. Whether you're an experienced professional or just starting your trucking journey, She Trucking is here to empower you and help you thrive. Visit www.shetrucking.com to join us and drive your trucking career to new heights.
Well, welcome back, and welcome to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we inspire, encourage, and empower you to live a faith-filled, purpose-driven life. So if you're just tuning in, we're just starting. Today's episode is one that many of us need, but don't always talk about. Blessings and boundaries. Because sometimes the greatest act of faith isn't doing more. It's knowing when to pause, say no, and protect your space. Because sometimes, let me tell you, let's just get comfortable, open our hearts, and let's talk about how boundaries can be one of the greatest blessings God gives us. Okay, I got a presentation, so I'm gonna bring it up. I'll be going in and out of this presentation, but since we are talking about gratitude, this is a great time to talk about it because guess what? It is New Year's Eve, and this is the time when we reflect. And so let's use this as a reflecting moment as we move out of 2025 and move into 2026. All right, so let me bring my presentation up. It says blessings and boundaries. So basically what we're trying to say is protecting your space. And you'll understand as I go through this what I mean by protecting your space. And I don't mean boundaries that are walls or all of those things. We're talking about blessings, okay? So let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Let's see what it's saying. Okay, so let's set the tone, y'all. Let's start with this truth. Excuse me. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are not rude. Boundaries are not unloving. Boundaries are a form of stewardship. They help you protect your emotional health, your spiritual peace, and your God-given purpose. And I speak of this all the time, and I always say that God, we're here for a purpose. There's a reason that we're here. You cannot be everything to everyone and still be faithful to what God has called you to do. And this is another thing that I do believe, that God calls us to do things. He puts us here to carry out accomplishments or tasks. I'm a firm believer in that. So we've set the tone. So why do boundaries matter? Why do they really matter? Well, many of us were taught to always be available. Have you ever been taught that way? Always say yes and always help, even when it costs us peace. Now, my granddaughter says that I'm guilty of this one. She says, I just don't know how to say no. And it's possible. I'm getting better with this, really. And as I did the research and everything for this, I found out that later on, that I had developed some of those techniques or some of the strategies that they give you to protect your space. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, why do boundaries matter? If we don't have boundaries, we get burnt out. And I know that many of you have been in many a jobs or in many a situation where you just burn out. You just don't want to be bothered with it anymore. And then you get this resentment. Oh my God, why do I have to do this? So you're resentful. It is emotionally exhausting. I mean, it drains you, seriously. There's a lot of confusion, and your spirituality is it's dry. And I'm here to tell you that God did not design you to live drained. I don't like living drained, and I'm sure that most of you do not like living drained too. I don't want to live drained. He designed us to live life whole, to be whole, not to be drained, and to live life to the fullest. Okay, let's go on. I'm pretty much sticking to my notes this evening. God did not design, which is what I just said, God did not design you to live drained. He designed you to live whole. So we're going to take another brief commercial. And when we come back from this commercial, we're going to talk about when God calls you to set a boundary. Because he does call you to set boundaries. Now, whether you're listening is another thing, but he does call you to set boundaries. And when I go over these, you're going to realize that he's calling you. So let's take that brief commercial real quick. We have a comment. Alexa says hi, hello, hi, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. So we're going to take that commercial now.
Does this resonate with you? Has a company ripped you off in the past? SettleShark is changing how consumers get money back from companies. SettleShark assists consumers during the entire process, from beginning to end. Our process is simple, convenient, affordable, and powerful. You're in control. We are here to help you. Contact us today at www.settleshark.com or call 1-888-704-0708.
Well, hello, I'm back. Well, we're back, and I'm Anna. I'm your host if you're just tuning in. We're talking about blessings and boundaries. And as we left to go for the commercial, we want to know when God calls us to set a boundary, because he does. So let me bring back up the slide real quick. When God calls you to set a boundary, there comes a moment when your spirit starts sending signals. Now, I'm going to say these, and you think about, do any of these resonate with you? A few of them resonated with me. Okay. You feel tired after every interaction. Now, sometimes I think I attribute it to being older or everything, but sometimes I get tired after every interaction that I do. Anxious before certain conversations. I can be, like that. Now, overwhelmed by constant demands. Oh, Lord Jesus. Has that ever happened to you? Do you ever feel guilty for needing rest? I'm serious. I know that most of us have felt these things. We have a comment coming in. Someone says, who asked? Well, I'm asking. I'm asking. Do you feel these things? Do you ever get tired after your interactions? When you do something, are you tired? Are you anxious? Are you overwhelmed when people put a lot of demands on you? Are you guilty when you know you need rest, but you feel guilty because you want to rest? Well, I'm going to let you know that's not weakness, that's wisdom. God often uses discomfort to signal the need for a boundary. God often uses discomfort to signal the need for a boundary. It really gives you something to think about. So, boundaries are truly biblical. People don't realize that, but they really and truly are. And I tell you this, the reason I say this is because even Jesus stepped away from the crowd. Even Jesus rested. And even Jesus said no. So your boundaries are truly biblical. He set the example for us. Let's go on. So, y'all know that I always have some type of verse because in my presentations. So tonight we're going to look at Luke 5, verse 16. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. So this highlights Jesus' critical habit of seeking solitude with God amidst his busy ministry, demonstrating the need for private communication, rest, and spiritual refueling to sustain public service. Emphasizing prayer as the source of his power and an example for believers to find their own secret place for renewal. It doesn't tell you where to renew. You can renew wherever you want to renew. But we all need these things. It just can't be boom, 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 boom all the time. You've got to pull back and you've got to rest. And you've got to pray. You've got to renew your spirit. This is the best time to renew your spirit so it takes you through the whole year. And I've talked about this all the time. Reflect, release, and renew. My 3 R's. I got 3 R's and 3 L's. Okay, 3 R's and 3 L's. But you need to do these things. All right. So there are 3 boundaries every believer needs, and we're going to talk about those 3 boundaries, and then after that we're going to take another commercial. So the first one is emotional boundaries. And because you know what? You are not responsible for managing everyone else's emotions. There is some people that take on everybody's emotions. You just can't do it. You hardly can take on your own emotions sometimes. So stop it. You've got to set emotional boundaries. The second thing is time boundaries. Your time is a gift. People don't realize that. Your time is a gift. Steward it well. Now, a good example of that is when you make something or you cook something for someone or you make an outfit for someone and they don't want to pay you your worth or your time. Your time is a gift. Steward it well. The third is spiritual boundaries. Protect your prayer time, your worship, and your quiet moments with God. Do you have those? I do. I have several. I make sure that every morning when I get up, I say a little prayer. Because it's not guaranteed that you get up every morning. So I'm very thankful and grateful. Nothing stops that before my feet hit the bed. I thank God. I worship. I do Bible study. I come from a religious background. Most people don't realize that, but I really and truly do. But I study the Bible and I go to church. And sometimes when I'm at home, I just want quiet moments. You know, those quiet moments help you to think. And so I enjoy them. Sometimes I don't, people say you watch TV. No, not really. I don't really watch. When I was young, I did. You know, I watched a lot of television, but not now. You'd be surprised. People are surprised about what I truly watch on television. You know, and it's not so much the movies or anything like that. So protect your prayer time, your worship, and your quiet time with God. Boundaries protect what God is growing in you. Remember that. Boundaries protect what God is growing in you. Now, let's take that commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how do we set boundaries with grace, and then we're going to do a little reflection. Okay, you know how I am. That's the teacher in me, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord, that is the teacher. That's the teacher in me. Okay? All right, so Lady Wigs is one of my affiliates. And so I had planned on wearing one of them tonight, but I have been having these hot flashes, and so I don't have one on tonight, but I plan, you'll see me with some. I just take pictures and stuff and things, but I love their wigs. And so that is the link down there if you are interested in looking at them. They have good, so they're expensive. I'm not going to lie to you when I tell you that, but you know, sometimes you have to pay for your quality. Also, I want to take this time to ask you to, if, well, I want to say that, I'm always looking for people. You'll hear me showing commercials and advertising, but I'm always looking for guests and people to be on my show. So if you're interested in doing any of those things, I do have some sponsorship package, some advertising packets, and so forth. And the guests, there's a few things that the guest needs, but most of my guests on my show are free. I only charge for advertising, the commercials, and those things like that. If you want to promote your product on my show. But if you're interested in that, you can always reach out to me at my email, which is info@AnnasLifestyleLLC.com, with any of those. If you're interested in the packet, or any of those types of things. I do have a jewelry website. That is it. So if you're interested in any of my jewelry products, you can go there as well. And I do go live on Facebook 3 times a week, just 2 this week because of the holiday falls on one of my days. I do have a couple of ebooks that are out, and if you want to get them, they're just $5. They're payhip.com. Sweet Blessings is that, and you can get those. I will have 2 more coming out shortly. On one of them will be on gratitude and emotion, and the other one will be like a mini series as well. For those of you who are on Facebook, I'm trying to get all of this out now because sometimes I forget. You can help me or support me by giving me stars. That is how they kind of operate. And I do stream to Facebook. So I think that is about one last thing that I want to do is to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I also have down at the bottom. All subscriptions, likes, shares, all of those things help all of us out, whether we're a podcaster or just a regular creator. So let's get back to our presentation. So when we left, I said we'll come back. We're going to talk about setting boundaries with grace. Okay. So, boundaries don't have to be harsh to be firm. We don't have to try to kill ourselves or, with the boundaries. Set realistic boundaries. Everything I do, I try to do is called SMART. Specific, measurable, something that I can see is tangible. You know what I'm saying? So here are just a few grace-filled ways to say no. And as I go over these, you will see that some of these you already used. You just didn't know that they were grace-filled ways to set boundaries with grace. So the first one is, that's not something I can commit to right now. Oh, Lord, I have said that many times. I don't think I can do that right now. Have you said that? The next one, I need to protect my time and energy. Now, I might not have said it in that fashion, but I have said, this is too much for me. I don't have time, and I will say this, I don't have time to do what I want to do. And that's when I know I need to protect my time and my energy, because you're here I'm here to live the best life that I can. And the best life I can, I have to do something. You have to do things that you like. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt out. So you have to set boundaries. This one here, I learned how to do. It says, let me check my capacity before saying yes. Now, I might not say, let me check my capacity. That's just what is used here. But I'll say, let me check my calendar to see if I'm available. Let me check my calendar to see if I have anything on that date before I say yes. Because you don't want to be overwhelmed. And you know, some people get offended. They get offended. Okay? But you have to tell them, I love you. But I can't take that on right now. So at one point, I have used all of these. And at one point, I'm sure that the people in the audience have used them as well. Notice, no explanation is required for this. You don't need permission to be at peace. You don't need permission for that. Okay, let me go ahead on, because you know I start preaching. So let's reflect now. It's almost time. It's almost over, y'all. We're going to reflect. Okay, so let's reflect. Let me get my notes together because I done strayed a little bit. Okay, I'm on task from my notes. Okay, so let's reflect. I want you to pause now and reflect on this question. Where in my life is God calling me to protect my peace? Where in my life? Is it a relationship? Is it a commitment? Is it a habit? Is it a mindset? Boundaries don't push people away. They make room for peace. Let me repeat that. Boundaries don't push people away. They make room for peace. So, we're going to take one more commercial, y'all. And after this, we're going to come back and I'm going to do a little summary of what I've talked about this evening. And I want to thank everyone for their comments. I'm just overjoyed that you find that this is an excellent topic. I think it is. And I think that we all need these type of things. So let's take that commercial really quick. Welcome back. I do want to let you know that I sell paparazzi jewelry and that it used to be $5 now, it's $8. So I wanted to come in and say that. But what's so great is that the company is growing. And so that is Cachet, which is our new line of 18 karat gold jewelry. So if you're interested in any of that, remember that website that I showed you earlier. You can go there and look at that jewelry. It is just fabulous. Okay. So I want to go ahead on and I want to go back and I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me this evening on the Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast. I want you to remember this. Boundaries are blessings. Peace, peace is priceless. And I know you heard people say peace of mind, peace of mind. That's what it means. Peace is priceless. And you are allowed to protect what God has entrusted to you. And I just want to say, if this episode spoke to your heart, share it with someone who may need permission to guard their peace today. And I'm going to leave you this evening with my 3 L's. You know how I feel about them. Because I always tell people that they are truly, truly the epitome of life. So the first one that I really want to talk about is to live. You want to live your life. Live your life to the fullest. You only get one life? Live it. Do those things that make you happy. The second thing is to laugh. Make sure you laugh. Laughter is so good. It's so good for your soul. It makes you feel so bad. And you know what? If you make someone else laugh, it's even better. You can bring them out of whatever it is that they're going through. And believe me, we all go through things. We all go through things. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is love. That's the third L, love. Try to love everyone. I know it's difficult. But I always tell people the most important person that you need to love is yourself. And you know, sometimes we forget to do that. We forget to love ourselves. We put others before ourselves, especially women. You know, we have children, husband, family, life, job, all those things. So we have a tendency to neglect ourselves, okay? We all have done it. I have done it. I'm getting better with it now. I'm getting better with not neglecting myself. But most of my responsibilities are gone now, okay? My daughter's grown. My granddaughter's grown. My mother, who I was a caregiver for, all of those things are not here now. So I'm able to be a little more at peace. Now, there are things that, happen. My church obligations, all those type of things. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed with those things. But those are my 3 L's. So I just want to make sure that you know that self-love, self-care, and self-love is very important, and that you need to practice that. That is something that you need to practice. So, with that being said, until next time, I want you to keep shining, keep growing, and keep living a life full of sweet blessings. Have a great one. Bye-bye.